Switzerland is really famous for its banks. But here's the truth, not all Swiss banks are great. So many are very expensive with poor services. In today's video, I will share key things you should look for when choosing a bank in Switzerland. I will also share my own experience and review results. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which banks are worth your time, your money, and your trust. Hey, I'm Charlene, your investment coach in Switzerland with 10 years of banking experience. Hit the subscribe button so you do not miss any of my money tips on how to make, save, and invest money in Switzerland. First, you really need to know everyone's needs are different. So what works for me may not work for you. So however, most people need a bank account for their salary, right? A debit card for cash withdrawals. On top of it, maybe a savings account, a credit card. And now let's break the criteria into different categories. One is about the monthly fee. Most banks here, they charge a monthly fee. When I first came to Switzerland, I felt ridiculous because in Hong Kong, we didn't have that. And here it's really normal to pay 5 to 8 francs per month to just keep your account open. But guess what? Actually, free accounts also exist in Switzerland. I will talk about them later. And number 2 is the price of features. Free debit cards, they also exist. Free bank transfers, also yes. But actually, you shouldn't pay extra to settle bills like your electricity or to transfer money to a friend, for example. You shouldn't at all pay a fee to do these kind of things. And do you need to send money abroad? Look for banks with low transfer fees, right? And do not forget, cash withdrawal in Switzerland should also be free, or at least free for a few times a month. The third thing you need to consider is the security of the bank. It's very important, right? Your money should be safe. To be very honest, this point should be point number 1. Actually, Swiss bank accounts are insured up to 100,000 Swiss francs, which means if the bank goes bankrupt one day, touch wood, your money up to 100K is protected. And in terms of security, always pick a bank with a Swiss banking license and avoid shady startups which are not regulated by FINMA. FINMA is Swiss Financial Authority, is the regulator here in Switzerland. The next thing you need to consider is access to bank services. Do you want to visit an offline branch? Then go for a traditional bank. Are you feeling comfortable with an app all the time? Then you can go for digital bank. And also check for ATMs nearby. If you use cash often, free withdrawal is a must. And last but not least, look at some additional services. So most people do not need fancy extras, but some probably need to get your salary, pay bills, and transfer money abroad, withdraw cash. That's it, simple. But you need more, for example, a loan, a bank loan for your apartment, an investment account. I also have another video on what is the best investment account in Switzerland, so make sure to check it out. And hey friends, before we move down, I just want to invite you to a free class where I will teach you how to make your salary work harder than you and share 5 easy ways to generate passive income in Switzerland. And the link is in the description. Do sign up before the spots are filled up. So personally, I've mainly used 3 different banks, ZKB, UBS, and Swissquote. And plus my family, my extended family is also from Switzerland. So we've also used banks previously like Credit Suisse before the merger and also a few others. And I just wanted to be clear now, I'm not affiliated with any banks. Any tips and reviews I'm sharing today are purely independent. And of course, I haven't used every bank in Switzerland to review them all based on my personal experience, but I've done my research and the reviews I'm sharing are based on 1, my personal experience, 2, my family and friends' experience, and 3, some detailed research. And now let's review UBS and ZKB, these traditional big names. So to be very honest, I actually like these big names. Yes, I know they're not cheap at all. So for example, I think I pay 8 francs per month for my UBS family account and 5 francs for ZKB every single month. And if you have a joint family account with 2 names, UBS, I think they give you a discount. So you only pay 8 francs instead of 5 and 5. But always check their latest fees. And this is what I pay, but fees can change over time. And these kind of banks like UBS, ZKB, or Bern Cantonal Bank, these kind of banks are what we call traditional banks in finance. So they have physical branches everywhere. If you like face-to-face service, I would say it's super convenient. And now let's break down the pros and the cons for these traditional banks. And the pros of them are they're really trusted and reliable. So for example, these are big banks with strong reputations. So if you care about stability, if you care about security, you cannot go wrong with them. Your money is well protected and insured. So for example, take Credit Suisse. You may have heard it recently acquired by UBS, right? And you may wonder, oh, what happens to my money? And that was with CS, with Credit Suisse. So I've actually experienced this myself. Well, I couldn't call the transfer completely seamless, but it was designed to be safe and secure. So your funds with CS, with Credit Suisse are protected, and the process ensures no risk to your money. And these traditional banks have branches and ATMs everywhere. And if you need face-to-face service, yeah, no problem. And they have all-in-one services from basic accounts to loans, mortgages, and investments. You get basically everything under one roof. So although I wouldn't recommend you to have investment account with, these kind of traditional banks because it's just super, super expensive, but it's another topic, right? And you can check my another video on which is the best investment platform in Switzerland. So basically, if you bank with these traditional banks, you do not need to go through different multiple banks for different services. And now let's talk about the cons of these traditional banks. 1, high fees. So monthly maintenance fees are common, like I mentioned, 5 to 8 francs just to keep your accounts open. And plus extra charges for things like foreign transactions or ATM withdrawals abroad. And also less flexibility, right? I would say processes can be bureaucratic, a lot of paperwork, and sometimes you will face slow customer support. And because, well, you're just a small client for them, right? And for me, the reason I have my bank accounts with ZKB and UBS, the reason is very simple. So I need a full range of banking services. So for example, I have mortgages, loans with them. I sometimes need a bit personalized support, especially once your finance reach a certain level. And I also have my business accounts, my company accounts, FinFit solution with them. So basically, I do not need to open a bank account with different banks, for different purposes. So for example, my business account is with UBS. I can manage both my personal account and my business account in one app. So as someone who loves minimalism and hates complications, I would say this kind of setup is a huge time saver for me. So that's why I stick with them. But again, what works for me may not work for you, right? Ask yourself, do you need the same? And probably you just need a basic bank account to receive your salary and transfer money occasionally. You might prefer a cheaper option, and which I will talk about now. And now let's talk about the cheaper options. Online banks, or some may call them digital banks. If you do not need loans, business accounts, or too much personalized support, and you just want a bank and receive your salary, pay bills, and transfer money, the online banks are perfect for you. So actually, I personally use Swissquote mainly for their investment services instead of their banking services. But there are some great options like Neon or You that are popular for daily banking. And for Neon, I do not really use it personally, but some of my friends do. So from what I hear is basically they don't charge monthly fee, correct me if I'm wrong, little or no foreign transaction fee when spending abroad. And a very user-friendly app that makes banking, I would say, very convenient. And it's 100% digital, right? No branches and minimal paperwork. So basically you can manage everything, almost everything, right from your phone. And another popular option is You. I hope I pronounced it properly. You. It's a digital bank backed by Swissquote, and post finance. I don't use it myself, but I know quite a few people they do so, especially younger people. So in fact, I even know someone who works there. There's what makes you stand out actually. Low fees with free domestic payment. Very easy to invest in stocks and cryptocurrencies directly from the app. And a simple interface that is really great for beginners. And however, these kind of digital banks have their cons as well. So one, almost no physical branches, right? So if you prefer face-to-face service, this might be a downside. Almost all support is online. And some of them, I would say they really have limited services. They usually provide no complex investments or personalized financial advice or even no mortgages, depends on which. And just the basics like accounts, payments, and sometimes investments and transfers. And some of them have ATM withdrawal limits. So most online banks limit free ATM withdrawals to 1 or 2 times per month. So after that, small fees apply. So overall speaking, if you value low fees, simplicity, and convenient mobile banking, so online banks like Neo and Yo are great options. But if you need more complex services, traditional banks might still be a better fit. And so far, I've mentioned quite a few banks in Switzerland, right? UBS, Credit Suisse, ZKB, Neon, Yo, and Swissquote. So some of these I personally use and some I don't. But beyond this list, there are also some options like microbanks, PostFinance, and if you live outside of Zurich, most cantons, they have their own cantonal bank. So now I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which bank is your favorite. And are you really feeling overwhelmed by all this? Don't worry, you're not alone. That's why I created a step-by-step investment course designed specifically for expats in Switzerland who want to retire early and live free. Actually, I have one just coming up later this month, and it's completely free, but the spots are limited. Basically, I've packed my 10 years banking experience into this 1-hour training to help you get started with investing in Switzerland. The link is in the description area. Sign up now. I will see you there.